Hello YouTube, nursing students, nurses, prospective nursing students, graduates. How are you all doing today? My name is David Chandler. I'm a newly registered nurse. I am here on YouTube to talk a bit about nursing, mostly with emphasis on the Nclex exam. This is my first YouTube video. Oh yeah, my first. But I look at so many different videos on YouTube talking about the Nclex exam, nursing school, how to pass, how to check your exam, things people do, how to study. I just felt like I could contribute a little bit of information about, how I studied for my Nclex and passed it, how I, the day before the exam, what I used, the review that I used, the books that I used. Just here to give you some information in regards to that. So I'm just going to focus a little bit on Nclex itself. Now we know they say that Nclex is a computer adaptive test that you answer one question and then the next one will be a little harder. The harder it gets, the better you're doing. The easier it becomes, then you might be in somewhat of some difficulties. You know what? To be honest with you, in my opinion, I think that how do you know what's hard or what's easy? As far as I know, the stuff that you know is easy. The stuff that you don't know, it's hard. So there goes that. Anyhow, so to prepare for the NCLEX, I know there are a lot of things out there, a lot of books, a lot of reviews that you can do. A lot of people take advantage of. I know some people use books like NCLEX book, some ATI books, some Saunders book to study for the NCLEX. I also know that there are a lot of reviews out there that can be pretty costly. There's a Kaplan review, the ATI, the Hirsch review. Yeah, there are a lot of them. But personally, I use the Kaplan review to study for my NCLEX. And the only reason why I did that is because my school offered it. It was part of the whole program. We were using ATI a year ago. They got rid of ATI and they started using Kaplan. And that's the only way how I used the Kaplan review. And I know that people say that Kaplan review is pretty good. Teach you strategy and how to answer the questions. Yeah, it does. It really does. It really does. And they also talk about the Hirsch review has a lot of content. I've never really utilized that, so I don't know, but that's what I heard. Um, so that's some of the things people use. And with the Kaplan review, Kaplan has a lot of teaches strategies and a lot of different questions, how to utilize this thing called the decision tree to answer your questions. And I said it like that because the decision tree could be a little tricky. And to be honest with you, the decision tree and myself, we had some falling out. We couldn't agree on a lot of things. So I utilized the decision tree when I thought it was necessary. But when it comes to the NCLEX exam, I really didn't. I'm not knocking the decision tree or Kaplan because I think it's pretty good. I just didn't utilize it that much to get to where I needed to be to pass the NCLEX. But a lot of people swear by it and they think that is the best thing since sliced bread. Yo, so how I studied. Well, I graduated June the 4th. I graduated from a 2-year program, associate degree program, and I got my date. I scheduled my date from June the 8th for the 23rd, and I know I had 2 weeks. And currently, I work as a licensed practical nurse in a hospital, 12-hour shifts, and I already had days already scheduling, even some overtime. So in that 2 weeks, I know I didn't have much time to study, and it was too late for me to take those days back, you know. So I had 2 weeks to study. So what I did all the questions I could have done in that span of time. I before doing that though, I could advise you guys that there are things that you know that you're weak in. Like for me, I knew I was weak in endocrine. I was very weak in endocrine. So what I did right before I started doing questions, I went into the book and I look over endocrine, diabetes, insulins, DKA. I looked at hypothyroidism, Addison's, Cushing's, diabetes insipidus, all of that. I made sure I got that done before I start doing questions because I know I was weak in that. So that's the only reason why I went into the book. My advice to you guys is stay away from the book as much as possible. Because what's happened is that you go into the book, you start reading a topic, and then you realize that There's something you didn't know, which there's always going to be something that you didn't know. And then you're going to read more and read more. And before you know it, you'll be reading every single topic that you just did in the 4-year program you just did. Or, as in my case, the 2-year program I just did. So I read all this stuff already. 2 years, for the last 2 years, or for the last 4 years. So don't waste time going into the book. Just, if you're sure that you're weak in something like me, I suggest you just go in and just browse through and just refresh yourself. Because honestly, guys, after 2 years and 4 years, you guys know your content, you know your stuff. You know, I have confidence you guys know your stuff, that you don't need to go and read up the textbook again. I would suggest you just go in, whichever review you took, whatever access you have, whatever question access you have. I think you should just utilize that and just do as many questions as possible. In total, I did about 1,500 questions, which is not really a lot. Some will say it is. I don't think it is that much. And the only reason why I did that much questions, or that little bit of question, I should say, is because I ran out of time. I really did. Between work, trying to study for this NCLEX, which was in 2 weeks, I didn't have much time. And the reason why I scheduled my exam like that, because I know, listen, I just came out of nursing school. I got some pretty good knowledge. I need to do my exam right away. If I don't pass it, schedule it for 45 days, go do it again. That was my outlook. I didn't want to wait for 2 months or a month and a half, because I know I'm going to be so nervous and I'm going to be reading a whole bunch of stuff that I really don't need to read. Because as you know, as you heard about NCLEX, it's so broad, it can come from anywhere. It can come from the most basic stuff to the most difficult stuff. So I just wanted to do my exam right away. And that was my approach. So I went in Kaplan. I do all the trainers. They have 7 trainers in Kaplan. I did all 7, and I did about 600 out of the 12 to 1300 QBanks question because of time. And my thing that I really do utilize, and I would suggest to you, is that when you do these questions, you should look at the rationales for every single question. The ones that you're sure about, the ones that you're not sure about, and the ones that you just don't know. Look at every single rationale. Try to get an understanding of why Kaplan or why Hirsch or why ATI use this particular rationale for this particular question. Okay, that's my best advice for you when it comes to doing that. As for me, and the day before the test, I did question trainer 7. There was a Kaplan representative came to our school and spent a week with us after we finished doing our final exams, and she went through all the strategies of taking and using the Kaplan, and she also talked about trainer 7. Her advice to us were, do trainer 7 1 week before your scheduled date. If you do trainer 7 and you get less than 60%, you should postpone your date, because the chances of you passing the NCLEX is very slim. Okay, so what I did, because like I said, not much time, I did question trainer 7 the day before my exam. My exam was a Tuesday. I did question trainer 7 on the Monday. I did that particularly. It took all day to do that. And you know what I got, guys? 54. I got 54 on trainer 7. I looked at my grade. I looked at my date. I was like, David, there's no way you're going to postpone your exam. You're going to do it. I need to work. I need to transition over to RN, and I need to start to work. If I do it and I fail, I just do it again. That was my outlook. You know, yeah, I was very nervous, but I felt like, you know what? I got nothing to lose right now. I have to just go in and just do it. And that's what I did. So the day before the test, I did a lot of questions. I will not suggest that. I would suggest the day before the test, you should relax. Spend some time with your family, watch a little movie, kind of like relax your mind, relax your head a little bit, because the whole NCLEX is so nerve-wracking. You don't want to spend time, you don't want to get there in the room and be so nervous. And you know, nervousness doesn't help, because when you're nervous or you're stressed, you forget stuff. You answer things, you choose certain answers for one question, but you know it was this way, but you did it that way, because you're nervous. So I would suggest that the day before the exam, you relax, even though I didn't do that, again, because of time. Now, day 4 the test now, I couldn't sleep the night before. I got up really early to do the test. My test was 8 o'clock in the morning. I went there, got to the location. I mean, going there I was nervous. When I get to the location I was even more nervous, because when you walk in there and then they have you read something about the test, and then they have you take out, empty your pockets, take out your change. I mean, take off your watch. I mean, they treated the location like a high security. They treated it like the Pentagon or someplace, you know. But I guess that's their rules and that's the way how they do their stuff, because maybe past experiences, maybe people cheating or what have you. I'm not sure, but that's the way. So that, even though that's their security protocol, it is very nerve-wracking. Also, it's nerve-wracking. So it shoots your anxiety to the next level. But anyhow, so I got into the exam room and I am nervous. Sat down to do my test and then started answering questions. Remember, I prayed before I went into the exam. But after seeing some of the questions I started getting, and I started sweating in the cold room, I started sweating. I had no choice than to close my eyes and send it a prayer. I had to, because when it comes to the NCLEX, it's all about the knowledge that you know. What you don't know, you just have to make the best educated guess. And you need some prayer. Actually, you need a lot of prayer. So I prayed before the exam, I prayed during the exam, and I prayed after the exam. And let me tell you about the Kaplan tree in the exam room. When I went into the exam room, I saw a window. I sat down and I saw a window. The Kaplan decision 3, not 3, the Kaplan decision tree went straight through that window. I did not utilize that. I just utilized what I'm accustomed utilizing while I was in nursing school. I've been to nursing school, I've answered so many questions before, done so many tests. I was able to pass these tests, so I just utilize what I'm accustomed to. And some people might find that might be useful to utilize what you're accustomed using when you were in nursing school. So that's what happened to my Kaplan decision tree. It went through the window. So I did the test the best way I can. What I didn't know, you make the best educated guess. And my exam did stop at 75. And even though it did stop at 75, I thought I failed. I was like, I don't know, what was this? What the hell was this? I think that is a very common response or reaction to a lot of people that take the NCLEX. Everyone thinks to fail because it's the test like no other, you know. But fortunately enough for me, I did pass my NCLEX, and I was very happy about that. So this video was just to give you guys some insight about NCLEX, what you should do, what I use, some things that I use and utilize, which was helpful to me. By looking at some of these videos, I see that we have one or two people a few people who didn't pass on the first try, other people who didn't pass on the second try. But I'm saying to you guys, listen, don't give up. You guys know your stuff. For the new people who hasn't taken the tests yet, you know your stuff. Just be calm the day of the exam. You know all the content. You did this for 2 years or 4 years, so you know your stuff. Just take it easy and take your time and just answer the questions the best way you can. The best way. I remember, do lots of questions, as many as you can, and look at every single rationale. You know, um, for the people who didn't pass before, there's a great motivational speaker by the name of Les Brown who says, when life knocks you down, always land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. I believe in that. And honestly, and this is not a failure. A failure is doing something, not being able to be successful at it, and then giving up. Because I know after you work so hard through nursing school, which is the hardest part of the whole process, I know there is no way one exam is not going to make you give up on your dreams. Because nursing is a great field to be in. And like I said, I've been in it for the last, 9 years. And let me tell you something. It's the best job in the world. It is. Love being in nursing. It's an amazing field. So guys, don't give up. You know your stuff. Go do your exam. If you've done it before, go do it again. If you haven't done it yet, schedule a date. Go do your exam. I have faith in you. I have faith that you know your stuff. I have faith that you can get through this. And I can leave with you this. Before you get to the exam, pray. Make sure and pray. Prayers go. If you're not religious, say something. Anything that can help you get through the exam, because the exam is rough. It's an exam like no other. But the great thing about it, you only have to do it and pass it one time. After that, you're good. So guys, that'll be all for today. I'll be making some more videos about being CNA, LPN, nursing school, working in hospital. I'm going to make videos about that. So thank you so much. God bless and all the best. Good luck. Bye.